What is a general foreman in construction? We talk a lot about superintendents, we talk a lot about foremen, but how often are we talking about general foremen or general crew leaders? It's time that we start talking more about them and how crucial they actually are, and to support the position. If you're into that, please stay with us. Okay, I am stoked to talk about this. Let me tell you a story. When I first started, this is kind of cool. I grew up in a construction family, and I remember going up to my dad's friend, kind of distant family, but not really, and asking for a job when I was 13 and a half. Super nervous, didn't know what I was doing, but I asked for the job. He said I could have a job. Started working there illegally, I might add, but before I was 15, because you're not supposed to work till you're 15 and a half, I think. But anyway, water under the bridge. Nobody turned me in, please. Anyway, started working and got concrete experience in operating equipment, experience in setting forms. It was really, really quite nice. Then I went to work at Hensel Phelps. My dad was a ready mix driver, and the salesperson at the Hensel Phelps job had a contact, and they got me in. So I joined the unions in California. I was like a level 5, 6 apprentice, I can't remember. I remember one of the concrete foremen saying, "Hey, you need kid to stay back a little bit. I don't want you getting addicted to the money. Take the time to go to school if you want." Anyway, so I was an apprentice level 6. But then I hurt my shoulder, and I was able to get on with the field engineering crews. So I went from a United States penitentiary over to a federal correctional institute. It was the second one in Victorville, and it was a massive project. I think today's dollars, it would probably be a $190 million project, 220, something like that. It was massive, concrete, or maybe it was 650. I can't remember. I don't math, but like the whole structure is concrete. I remember the trend chart showing if we were on schedule. It was a massive project. And on that project, I saw the Hensel Phelps craft in all of their glory. There was a labor foreman, a finishing foreman, for the cement masons, and then the carpenter foreman, but a general foreman coordinated all of them. Now, were the foremen looped into meetings and coordination? Absolutely. But the general foreman made sure that everybody was synced, right? That the carpenter foreman was making sure that the formwork for the tilt panels were out ahead, and that the back of house beams and decks and columns and walls were going up properly, and that the finishing crews were all synchronized, and that the laborers were there to place concrete with the finishers and to clean up and to make sure that everything was generally kept well on site. And this position was like an anchor. And it also solved part of the problem of you have multiple functional areas, and instead of having 5 or 6 different foremen, which I still recommend having that option, but instead of having 5 or 6 different foremen in meetings, the general foreman could be there and was there and coordinated all of the activities, and it flowed beautifully. It really impressed me on what a general foreman could be. And I looked up to him just like I did the general superintendents. I mean, they were like the lowercase g gods of the field world, and I respected them so much. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the details now. A general foreman can lead a specific trade. So like, let's say an electrical general foreman supervises all of the other foremen and lead persons, or in the case of the Hensel Phelps example, one general foreman can oversee different scopes, but it's generally within concrete. So typically they have their own trade, but it doesn't have to be that way. The second thing is they oversee the foreman or the general crew guidance for multiple crews, keeping them in sync. Really, really nicely done. Sometimes I see this in a trade partner or a GC where they're helping to keep all of the different crews flowing at a company level, or on a massive project, all the crews flowing on a project level. Think of them just like you would think of a general superintendent for a company. They're like the field general in charge of all of the other commanders. But the other commanders are not micromanaged. They're enabled to do their work. They report to the trade partner company or trade partner superintendent PM or the general contractor project superintendent. And so they really are a bridge between the crews and the project management team. Not a barrier, not a disconnect, another level of hierarchy that's going to disconnect everybody, but a bridge, not a disconnect, a bridge, to really make sure that the project management team, the PMs, the supers, field engineers, project engineers are getting what they need, but it's not chaotic and everybody has consistent communication and consistent alignment among the crews. And so one of the main roles is that they coordinate across all of the different crews. Now, is this done in afternoon foreman huddles? Yes. Is it done by functional area? Yes. But there are certain things, oh, this is such a good video. I'm having so much fun today. Okay, so like a general foreman has got to feed. Like we just did a chapter in a book called Elevating Construction General Superintendents that we're writing right now. And one of the chapters that was recommended was how do you go from project superintendent to general? And one of the comments that was made is you don't have the proximity, boots on the ground ability to drive things here. As a general superintendent, you build people and leaders and you get them what they need, right? Same thing with a general foreman. You can't be these crews all the time. You've got multiple crews you're overseeing. So build, train those other foremen and get them what they need. So even if all of them are already synced in the afternoon foreman huddle, that's fine, but have you synced labor? Have you synced equipment? Have you synced company priorities, right? So the general foreman is there to make sure that all crews are communicating well and in sync. They are there to really help the general contractor with the planning and scheduling of the project. They really help out with logistics. They're like your logistical commanders. They make sure things are feeding properly in the right places and that everybody has the space to work, the tools and materials, the equipment, the time and the training to do their job. They're really logistical masters. They oversee safety and quality and make sure that the quality product is fanatical, and they set the example right there. And like I already said, they allocate labor, which is quite remarkable. Now, they can represent all of these other foremen in the afternoon foreman huddle, or all of the separate foremen can come. Either way you do it, that's again why I design it in the afternoon, because if you have general foreman and the general foreman attends the afternoon foreman huddle the day before, that general foreman has got to have time that afternoon or the next morning right away before work starts to disseminate the information. I'm telling you, just a quick side note, the Elevate Construction and Lean Tact meeting system that we talk about in our books is so well researched. I just want to recommend it one more time, that having an afternoon foreman huddle, planning the day before, then a worker huddle, then crew preparation huddles, accommodate all these positions and especially the role of a general foreman. Now, if you don't have them, then there's some things that can happen. People get disconnected. The foreman for individual crews may not have the time to execute. Right? That's one problem that I have with advanced work packaging is they say some distant person in an office will prepare your work package. I don't like that. I want the foreman to be involved, and a general foreman with field engineers can work with the foreman to do the right prep, but also give them plenty of time with their crews in the field. The other thing is great coordination and synchrony is what creates flow in the field. So if you don't have a general foreman, you might lose that. And here are the things that make them successful. They've got to have a deep understanding of the work, great relationships with the foreman that they oversee, a really great understanding of planning and scheduling and flow, and they've got to be servant leaders, really enabling the crews to do their work. The bottom line is this is a key role, and in the description below, I'm going to give you a role card or a description of what a general foreman should do, how they do it well, so that you can go and take that and implement that on your project and in your company as well. If you need anything else, let me know. We'll add it to the Miro board that we have that's titled the Foreman Career Path, the Foreman Board. If you want anything added to the Elevating Construction Foreman book, please let us know. But we're always here. Please reach out to us in the comments below and check out the cool things we're going to give you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.